Howdy, Jacob here. Today we're looking at Brinker International, ticker symbol EAT. It's kind of fun. Hotel, restaurant, leisure industry, 3.2 billion market cap on 3.9 billion enterprise value. A lot of capital leases here, I presume, so not terribly concerned. They engage in ownership, development, operation, and franchising. Casual dining restaurants. They operate and franchise Chili's and Maggiano's Little Italy. Also operates virtual brands. It's Just Wings. I've been there before. That's cool. Headquartered in Dallas, Texas. Founded in 1975. Okay. It's been around for a little bit. Growth is likely due to. See, there's one good thing I do like about those retail food industries is that if it is really good and it does have expanding power, you can just put more restaurants around and people will go to them. I mean, if you think about the biggest one, the two biggest ones I can think about are Chick-fil-A and a Starbucks. I mean, you could put those anywhere and they're getting demand day one. So if you have those type of power, if you have that type of power as a restaurant, and I know these are sit down restaurants, so it's not apples to apples necessarily, but similar concept where people know about the business and they'll go to it. I think that creates a lot of growth potential, and that's a good use of your return on invested capital if it is great. So for me right now, we're not seeing a whole lot of growth, probably 2 to 5% over the last 10 years per year. Gross margin is very low, from 20% down to 14%. Operating margin, 10.5% down to 6%. So we're not looking at huge margins here. They got rid of their dividend, which looks like was a good idea due to it paying out, 50% of capital allocation. Return on invested capital hasn't found its way back up to what it was pre-COVID. That's kind of a bummer. It seems to be a pretty similar story to what I'm seeing with a lot of things. A lot of revenue growth, margins aren't there. Seeing it in the airline industry, still seeing it a little bit in the cruise industry. A lot of things that you got hit. They just haven't found the margins. I'm assuming it's sales, general, and admin. Or cost of goods sold. Yeah, that makes sense too. Inflation would hit that. So, for them, it's a huge bump in cost of goods sold. From 2.4 million to 2.7 million over a 5-year period. And then over that same period, it went from 2.7 to 3.8. Massive growth, massive hit from inflation, from their costs. And again, that's likely going to hit you. That's why inflation is a tickly little thing, because it hits the bottom line from expense standpoint. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to increase prices. That's the basis of inflation. But either way, sales, general, and admin up a little bit. Other operating expenses, not terrible. Interest income, not too bad. Decline of shares is massive. So 63 to 44, huge reduction. Balance sheet shows 65 million cash-like products. No short-term debt, 695 million long-term debt, as we could see a lot of capital leases. That 600, let's say 700 million debt is going to be less than 4 years of their 5-year actual cash flow, so that's good. Not a huge concern there. Maybe, they've been reducing debt very steadily over the last 7 years, with only 1 year being net issuance of shares or of debt. But other use of cash, they used to buy back a lot of shares, used to pay a dividend, some acquisitions. So I just like to see what they're going to do with their free cash flow, because they're at a reasonable debt ratio. And so I would be intrigued to see, are they going to buy back shares? They're going to make acquisitions. I just don't have that available to me. So I'm going to have to make some assumptions with it. On the revenue growth side, probably grow a little bit more than inflation. Seems reasonable to me. Market average PE, I don't think it's anything crazy going on here with these restaurants. Margins, I do love that free cash flow is a bit higher. Let's do 4 and 5%. Share repurchases, I don't think they can buy back a lot, but they're not showing it. So I'm going to assume a bit of money just goes to acquisitions and reinvestment and to debt pay down, and then that's saying it needs to fall 54% before you get the return we're looking for here. So another company where it's pretty much double what I believed it to be worth on my initial analysis. And so I'll be reviewing other companies in the meantime. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.